Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can build a system that will automatically create AI generated videos in the format of a baby podcast. As you may have known, AI generated videos are getting more and more popular, and every time there is a new trend. So lately, AI generated baby podcasts have been gaining more and more popularity on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and many others. So let me go ahead and show you the examples that we're going to be using for this workflow, and we'll try to replicate that example. So if we go on a TikTok, I found this page that has a bunch of baby podcast AI generated videos. And as you can see, some of them are getting a lot of views, like 15 million, 10 million. So let's go ahead and watch one.
Turn off for me, can't swim. If you can't swim, honey, I mean, the earth is 80% water.
So I like this trend. It's pretty cute and funny. So let me go ahead and explain you what my workflow does. So as you can see, this is the workflows that I've created. And basically the way it's going to work, it consists of different steps. Before I go ahead, let me actually tell you what platforms we're going to be using first. We're going to be using Apify for scraping. We're going to be using OpenAI for image generation. And we're going to be using Hedra for video creation. So first step is going to be, as I said, scraping. So with the use of Apify, we're going to scrape the original videos of the podcast. And in my example, I'm going to be using Joe Rogan as the podcaster. So we're going to scrape some videos of Joe Rogan speaking in a podcast format. And then once we scrape those results, we're going to feed it into our Google Sheet where we're going to be keeping track of every videos that we scraped and basically working with that spreadsheet throughout this whole process. After, we're going to go and create image with the use of OpenAI image model. We're going to create an image, and after the image is created, we're going to upload the image to the Hedra, and then we're going to create the audio. Good thing is that with the help of Apify, we can get the audio itself from basically the videos that we scraped. So we're going to have video URL, and then we're going to have also a separate audio file, audio URLs that we can just basically download. Then we're going to also upload that audio to Hedra. And once everything is uploaded, the image and the audio, everything is going to be combined. And then we're going to go and create the video. Once the video is created, we're going to go ahead and upload it to YouTube. You can upload it to any social media you guys want, like TikTok. But for this example, I'm going to be using YouTube. So let's go ahead and start building. So first step in building the system is going to be set up your Google spreadsheet to the format similar to mine. As you can see, I have ID, caption, and different kinds of columns. I'll try to explain briefly what they do, and as we go through the build, you'll understand much better why we have each column and what is the purpose. But to be brief, basically we're gonna have ID to make sure that we separate each video that is scraped by the ID. Then we have caption, video URL, audio URL, and date. So this is all the information we're gonna get from Apify. We're gonna get the caption of the video because TikTok has a video and it has the caption. Then we're gonna be using the URL of that video so we can access it, as well as the audio URL. You remember what I said? We're going to be given a different audio URL that is going to be just strictly audio without no video. And then we're going to have a date, basically the date of this video and when this video was posted on TikTok. Then we have status and publish. These two columns are more responsible for keeping things clean and making sure that n8n is not getting confused, because we have for status completed and waiting. So each time I have waiting as a status, n8n is going to go look for this information and is going to generate a video for the row that has status as waiting. So let's go inside the n8n, and as you can see, I have a blank canvas that is ready to be built on the automations that we're going to build. So let's go ahead and add the first step. So the first step is going to be to add a trigger. For now, we're going to be using trigger manually, but later in the video, we're going to change it up to something else. So let's go ahead and press test the workflow. As you can see, everything is green around the trigger, meaning that everything went smooth and there is no errors. This is a pretty simple trigger, so I doubt anyone can make a mistake with that one. And then the next step is going to be to add another node, which is going to be HTTP request. And here we're going to be using method post. But before I set the whole HTTP request, let me go inside the Apify and show you the platform. So this platform is mainly used for different kinds of web scraping. We can scrape data from TikTok, Instagram, Google Maps, YouTube, and so on. So if I'm not mistaken, Apify lets you use it for free at first if you don't want to pay. So let's go ahead and look for TikTok. And each scraper, or like you can call it an agent, is called an actor inside Apify platform. So we're going to be using this one, TikTok Data Extractor. So let's go ahead and click on that one, and you can try it for free. So here you're going to have this kind of interface, and within this interface, you can see that you have manual and JSON. So here you can play with it and set everything up yourself. And then once you set everything up yourself through the manual method, you can actually go inside the JSON, copy it, and use it in the body of your HTTP request. So as you can see in my JSON, I have hello. If I go and change something in the manual tab, like let's say friend, and we go inside the JSON, you're gonna see that now friend is populated. That is the hashtags that we're looking for. And basically, you don't have to know how to create this JSON yourself. You can just, as I said, format it through here, and then just copy this JSON and paste it in your body of the HTTP request. Or you can just wait for me to copy and paste my JSONs that I already created in a workflows that I've showed you initially, but also to get some information about how to use this API. So you're going to go to API endpoints, and here we're going to be looking for run actor synchronously and get dataset items. So here you can see the URL. You can just basically copy this URL. It already contains your API key, so you don't have to look for it separately. Let's go back. We're going to use it as a post method, and inside here, we're going to basically paste our URL. Then we're going to be sending body as well. And here, body content type is going to be JSON, and specify body is going to be using JSON. Let me go ahead and show you the Google Docs that I have. If anyone needs it, you guys can comment down below or email me, and I'll try to share it with you all. So here I already have my ready prepared JSON that I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go to back to the tutorial workflow, and I'm going to just paste it right here. I'm going to open it up so you can just guys pause it right here and copy this JSON. So here basically we're going to be looking for any post that is 30 days or newer. We don't want to basically scrape any post that is too old. The next important part is going to be profiles. It's one of the profiles that I found where this profile has a lot of Joe Rogan podcast videos, because Joe Rogan doesn't have specifically his TikTok, neither his shorts on YouTube. So I'm going to be using this page inside the TikTok, and also have results per page 3. I want to scrape only 3 results. I don't want to have like hundreds of those for this video. So let's go ahead and let's click test step, and let's wait. So also what you can do to just make sure that everything went smooth, you can go inside your Apify, and if you go to runs, you'll be able to see that starting the crawler, meaning that the process has started, and all you have to do is just wait. As you can see, the process usually takes 20 seconds. So let's go back inside the workflow. Let me just rename it just to keep everything clean. I'm going to keep it as scraper, rename. And here, as you can see, I got 3 items scraped, meaning that everything went well. And now, you remember we just set up our Google spreadsheet. It's important to start feeding it into our Google spreadsheet to keep logs of everything. And in the future, in the next steps, it's going to be very important. So let's add another node. It's going to be Google Sheets. So here, we're going to be looking for append row in sheet. So you'll have to just connect your Google Sheet credentials with n8n. Then resource is going to be sheets within document. Operation is going to be append row. And document, we're going to look for the document you guys just created. Sheet is going to be sheet 1. And here it's going to map each column automatically. As you can see, we have ID, caption, video URLs, all the columns that you saw in my Google spreadsheet. So here we're going to be looking for, let's see, play for audio. If I'm not, let's see, play. So as you can see, we have play URL, and you can just basically put it inside the audio URL. Then web video URL, you're going to put it inside the video URL. And then we'll have to look for the date. Let's find the date. Actually, let me just make sure I'm using the correct date. So create time ISO, we can use that one. And then for the status, we're going to be using waiting. And for publish, we're going to be using pending. So then in the next step, our n8n workflow can go inside and look, is there any rows that is waiting and is pending to be kind of generated the video for. So it's going to look for the raw, it's going to say it's waiting. So that means that the information inside the raw should be worked with. And here inside the ID, you can basically, let me put this expression, you can copy what I have here. We're going to be pasting the formula inside that Google spreadsheet. So basically, the way this formula is going to work, you're going to have your first item is going to be ID number 1, second item is going to be ID number 2, and so on. For caption, we're going to be using this text. And let's click on test the step and go inside the Google spreadsheets that I have. So as you can see, everything went well. And if you look at the Google spreadsheet, everything got populated. We have the video URL, audio URL, caption, and statuses, which are the most important right now. So you remember I told you that audio URL is being fed separately as a separate audio without the video. Let's go ahead and check that one out. So
one time when my oldest daughter was very young, we went.
So as you can see, we have a separate audio URL, which is going to be very useful in the next steps of building this workflow. So let me close it out. And I'm going to be just creating a video for this part since I already showed you audio. I don't want to create 3 different videos. I'm just going to work with one part. So let's go back inside the tutorial. And now we created a scraper. So since we scraped some results, now it's time to start working with these results. So the first step is going to be to add a trigger. It's going to be a schedule trigger. So meaning that our workflow can go inside that Google Doc, Google spreadsheet, and look at it maybe once a day, maybe twice a day. For example, now we have once every midnight. It's going to go inside that Google spreadsheet and look for the new data. And if it sees a new data, wherever it has waiting and pending, it's going to create a video for that row. So next node is going to be Google spreadsheet. And now we're going to get rows in the sheet. So here we're going to choose our Baby podcast. Sheet is going to be sheet number 1 again. And here we're going to add a filter. So we're going to look for status, waiting, and we're going to add another filter for publish, pending. Let's test the step and we should get some kind of result back. And as you can see, we got the result back. If you put the value something different, like submitted, you're not going to get anything. Just to make sure you guys understand here how it works. So here we're going to put this as pending. Let's click on test the step again. And let's wait. Okay. Everything got populated. We have one item because I kept only one item, one row with information to generate one video. The next one is going to be, we're going to be making HTTP request to the OpenAI image model. So let's do HTTP request. And here we're going to be using post method. And let me actually go and show you something real quick. So this is my OpenAI image generator. As you can see, I have all the data here. You can pause it right here, look at it. I'm not going to be using this API key after this video. I'm going to just delete it. So just see the format of what you have to feed inside the HTTP request. But here you can see that I have URL. You're going to be using this URL to generate an image. So let's go back, keep it as post, URL. We're going to send headers. And here we're going to be using authorization. And inside the value, you're going to put bearer and your API key next to it after bearer space your API key. So let me go back and copy my bearer with my API key. And I'm going to just paste it right here. Okay. Next is going to be, we're going to be sending a body. So here we're going to be using fields below as the method. And here we can name a model, which is going to be GBT image 1, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, GBT image 1. And let's go back inside the tutorial. And here I'm going to add also a prompt. I'm going to basically copy this prompt. I'm going to go back inside and paste it right here. I'm going to open it up so you guys can see what kind of prompt I'm using. Create a photorealistic of Joe Rogan, vertical 9:16 portrait of a baby version of this person. Keep their facial structure and profile recognizable. Make it cute and stylized like a toddler. Okay, so everything seems to be correct, but something important to mention for you all. Whenever you use GBT image 1, the only way you can use it, if you go inside the organization on OpenAI platform, you can see that we have verifications. We have to make sure that we verify our organization, otherwise it's not going to work. Once you verify, all you have to do is basically submit your ID or passport or whatever you guys want to do. And then you have to scan your face, and then it's going to get verified within a second. After you verify it, the API key you'll be using might not work. If it doesn't work, just create a new secret key and paste it in. That way, it will debug the problem, and you'll be able to start using this GBT image one model. So let's go back and let's test the step. So as you can see, our image got generated, but we cannot download it, and the data is in base64 string. So we have to convert it to file in order to make it compatible with the other platforms and pass it to Hedra. So let me go ahead and add the next step, which is going to be convert to file. And we're going to be using move base64 string to file. So here we're going to look for base64 string, and we're going to just pull it inside the input field. Here we're going to test the step, and now we will be able to download the image and see what got generated for us by OpenAI. So let's open it up. And as you can see, this is a little Joe Rogan. Looks pretty cute, and I like the microphone, the setup. So we'll be using that image for our video generation in today's video. So let's go back inside the workflow. And the next step we'll be making is we're going to be doing HTTP request to Hedra. Let me show you the Hedra platform. Basically, it's a AI video generation platforms that we're gonna be using for today's video. So for you guys to actually use it and use its API, you have to use at least the basic plan, which is $10 a month. I wish it was free, but that's what we are dealing with for now. So for you guys to, once you subscribe to the basic plan, you're going to be able to use API key. And here you'll have a button to generate API key. You're basically going to press on it and your API key is going to be generated. All you have to do is just press right here and you'll be able to copy it. Also here, you'll be able to see the documentation on how to use and how to communicate with the Hedra platform. We'll be using public assets. As the next step, we're going to basically create an asset inside the Hedra, and inside that asset, we're going to be passing our audio or image file. So let me go back inside my tutorial, and here I'm going to do HTTP request. And here the method is going to be post, and I actually have it in my Google Doc, all the information. So we're going to be using this URLs that you saw in the documentation of Hedra. So let's just copy this URL and let me go back, paste it right here, and you're going to be sending a body. Oh, actually, before we send the body, let's actually create a credential for our Hedra. So we're going to choose authentication as genetic credential type. Here we're going to look for header auth. And here I already have my Hedra, but for you guys to create that, all you have to do is put XAPI key in the name, and in a value, we're going to go back to Hedra, and we're going to copy our API key. We're going to go back inside our n8n. We're going to paste the API key. Let me rename it Hedra tutorial. And here we're going to be able to save it. And as you can see, credential successfully created, meaning that everything worked, and now we can use this credential. Then we're going to be we're going to send the body. So here, body content type is going to be JSON. Specified body is going to be using JSON. And inside this JSON, I'm going to be pasting this part. So for image, we're going to be pasting type image. And for audio, we're going to be pasting type audio. Name can be whatever you guys want. So let me go back and paste it right here. If you want to just copy it, you don't have to name it exactly the way I named it. You're basically naming the asset. You can name it whatever you want. But now we will create an asset and we'll get back the ID of that asset. So let's test the step and let's wait. As you can see, so you can see we have name, image, type, image, and we have the ID of the asset. The next step is going to be adding a merge node. We're basically going to merge the outputs from convert to file as well as the image asset, because we want to pass our asset ID as well as the actual file inside to the Hedra, so we can upload the image in a later steps. So let me go ahead and add this merge node, and we're going to be using mode append, and number of inputs are going to be 2. Let me just make it look a bit cleaner. I'm going to connect them all, and if we press test the step, we're going to get 2 outputs, 2 items as the outputs. The next node is going to be a code. So now we have to package everything and make everything look nice. We're going to package our metadata, so we have our data from the file as well as our ID all packaged into one item. So let me delete that code, and I'm going to actually go inside my Google Doc, and here you can use this exact code I have as is. I'm just going to copy it, you can just pause your video right here and copy the exact same code and use it for your own workflow. I'm going to paste it right here. And now our metadata is packaged. So the next step is going to be merging these two nodes together, convert to file and image asset, because we want to pass to Hedra the file itself as well as the ID of the asset. So let me add a merge node. Here we're going to be using mode as append. Number of inputs going to be 2. Let me make it look a bit cleaner. I'm going to connect them all, and I'm going to press on test the step, and we're going to get 2 items as our output. The next node is going to be code. So now it's time for us to package our metadata and kind of clean everything up. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to create one item that contains the data and the matching metadata, which is going to be the ID of the asset. So let me go back inside and copy this code. So you can just pause it right here, copy the exact same code and use it as is. I'm going to go back to the tutorial and I'm going to paste it right here, and you'll see that we have one item as an output that is structured and packaged to be passed on to the Hedra. So the next step is going to be adding HTTP request. Here we're going to use HTTP request. Method is going to be post. And now we're going to be using a different URL. We're going to be using URLs that uploads. So if I go up, I have here a URL. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to paste it right here. But here we also have to ensure that we are sending a body. So we're going to send a body. Something important to mention. This is the asset IDs that we had from image asset creation. And here we're going to be using form data as body content type, and parameter type is going to be n8n binary file. For the name it as file, and input data field name is going to be data. So if it is the step, now everything should be uploaded to the Hedra. I did a small mistake right here. I forgot to choose one of the credentials. So you remember we created a credential, which was Hedra tutorial. So now let's go ahead and test the step again. So now everything should work. Hopefully. Okay. As you can see, everything worked. Everything got uploaded to Hedra. And now the next step is going to be, actually, let me go back and just rename it real quick so we can keep everything clean. It's going to be image upload. The next step is going to be creating an audio. So now we're going to create an audio asset. Pretty much the same exact process. Let's copy this image asset node. And let me just connect it. And I'm going to rename it to audio asset. Rename it. Everything is going to stay exactly the same except for the name. I'm going to rename it to something else like audio. You can rename it to whatever you guys want it to be. And for the type, this is important. It's going to be audio. So now let's go ahead. Make sure that you chose your credentials and not make the same mistake I did in the previous step. So let's go ahead and test the step. And now we have to get our ID back. As you can see, we have our ID back. And the next step is going to be actually downloading the audio. You remember we had the audio URL that was scraped from the Apify scraped for us, and then we fed into the Google spreadsheet. That's the one we're going to be using. So let me add another HTTP request. And this HTTP request is going to be very simple. We're going to keep the method as get, and now we're just going to go look for the audio URL and paste it right here. So if you see something like that, can't determine which item to use, little trick, remove item and just put first with 2 parentheses. And now, as you can see, everything is being identified. Let's go ahead and test the step. Let me rename it to get audio. Okay, we got our audio. Everything should be perfect. Now we have to upload that audio onto the Hedra. Basically, the exact same process. So let's go ahead. Let's connect them. Okay, so let's go inside. We're going to keep everything exact the same as is. Now our JSON ID is different. As you can see, this is the exact same one as we have in get audio asset ID as asset ID. So let's go ahead and let's test the step. Now everything should be uploaded to Hedra. Let's rename it to audio. Rename. I don't know why I didn't get executed, probably because I renamed. So let's test the step again. And now we should get one item out as an output. was the successful execution. So as you can see, we got one item as an output, everything worked well. So now it's time to actually for us to generate the video. So the next step is going to be adding another HTTP request, which is going to be creation of the video. So here we're going to put post, and let's go back in my Google Doc, and here we're going to be using this URL. I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to go back, and if you want to find it yourself, you can just go right here, and you'll be able to find all the information right here. Like as you can see, you have public generation. This is the exact URLs that I used, and my body is going to be in a very similar format to what we guys have here. So let's go back, and here authentication generic credential type, header auth, header tutorial seems fine, and now we're going to be feeding the JSON. So let me go back and copy the JSONs that is already pre-made, and I'm gonna basically paste it right here. Don't worry, I'm gonna open it up for you so you guys can see it. So let me just make it cleaner, but as you can see, we have type, video, AI model ID. This is the models that we're going to be using, text prompt, as well as the resolution, aspect ratio, and so on. So let me remove this too. And for the start keyframe ID, let me see what I'm gonna be using. It's from, we're gonna look for the image asset. We're gonna be basically pasting this ID. And here we're just gonna rename it to the first. And here we're gonna be looking for our audio asset. So let's go inside. We're gonna look for that ID. We're gonna paste it right here. And yeah, it's being fed. We don't have to change it to first with two parentheses. And now it's time to test the step. So we should get some result back. And as you can see, the output was successful. Seems that everything is successful and our generation is in progress. So let me rename it real quick to video generate. Okay. Rename it. And the next step is going to be actually, I would add a wait step. I would suggest you adding like 6 minutes or 7 minutes just to make sure that everything is being, that your video is finished downloading and processing. But for now, we're going to keep it as 1 second. Let's test the step. And now the next step is going to be getting the status of the video. So you can check, hey, is your video, is the processing of your video is complete or not? So it's going to be HTTP request. So for us to get a status of the video, we have to choose method as get. URL, we're going to paste it in a very similar format to what I have right here. As you can see, it's very similar to the URL when it came to generating the video. However, I just added JSON ID as well as the status to look for the status of the video. Here's going to be generic credential type, and we're going to look for header auth and look for the credentials that we just created in this video. Let's test the step. And as you can see, our video is processing and it's only processed to the 30% of its full. So let's wait and get our video back. So now our video got processed and the status is complete. As you can see in the schema, the status is complete and we have our URL. So let's go ahead inside the table view and let's copy this URL. And then we're going to go inside the next tab and paste that URL in the search bar. Once we paste it, the video is going to get downloaded. So let's go ahead and review that video.
One time when my oldest daughter was very young, we went to Hawaii. And I remember that day like it's yesterday. We went to the top of the observatory and we were driving up there and they said, well, if it's a cloudy night, it's terrible. You can't see anything. But maybe you'll get lucky and there'll be some stars.
So as you can see, the video is very cute and awesome. I loved it. I hope you guys liked it as well. So let's go ahead and start building the last steps of our workflow. So the next step is going to be actually downloading that video. So let's go ahead add the HTTP request. I'm going to rename it to the download the video. And here the method is going to be get, and the URLs that we're going to be passing is going to be that URL from the get video where we got the status. For the next part is going to be add an option, and here we're going to look for the response. And here we're going to look, the response format is going to be file. And now we can keep it as is, the way you guys see it on your screen, and let's test the step. It's going to take a second for our video to get downloaded, but once the video is going to get downloaded, we can pass it to the next steps. So as you can see, the MIME type is binary. We have to change it up to pass it to the YouTube. So the next step is going to be to actually upload it to the Google Drive. So let's go ahead and find Google Drive, and we're going to be using upload file. So here, we're going to keep everything as is. I'm just going to look for baby shorts tutorial parent as a parent folder, and I'm going to just test the step. Now we have the binary files that is going to be passed on to the Google Drive, and it's going to be uploaded up there. So as you can see, it's out there. And the next step is going to be downloaded back, and you'll see the difference. So let's look for Google Drive. Here's going to be download the file. And here we're going to choose the expression, and we're going to look the file by the ID, because we have, remember, we just uploaded that file to our Google Drive, and we got the ID back. Now we can paste that ID back into this part. Let me rename it to download back the video. So rename it. Let's test the step. And now we should get our video back, and you'll see the difference. You remember the MIME type was binary. Now the MIME type is video MP4. So now this video is ready to be passed on to the YouTube. So let's go ahead and let me add a YouTube node. We're going to look for upload the video. Let's upload the video. Here it's going to be YouTube account. You have to connect it with your credentials. Resource video. Operation is going to be upload. Title, just you want to keep it like that, or you want to, let's name it Baby Joe. Region code, I'll choose my region code, US. Let's see, United States. Category name is going to be film and animation, and input binary field is going to be data. So now we're going to test the step, and now this video is going to be uploaded onto the YouTube. So let's test the step. Okay, as you can see, we have the upload ID. Let me go ahead and go onto my YouTube and see if that video got uploaded. So now I'm on my YouTube channel, and as you can see, I have the video uploaded. Let me just choose it as unlisted. I should have chosen it inside the node. And here we have the video link. Let's just go ahead and look at the video.
One time when my oldest daughter was very young, we went to Hawaii, and I remember.
As you can see, everything got uploaded. So let's go back inside the tutorial. We're almost done. So we uploaded the video. Now the last and one of the most important steps is to update our spreadsheet. So now if we go back to our spreadsheet, we have waiting pending. So if we pass a new scraped items onto this workflow, it's gonna regenerate this video back again. We don't want that because the video was generated. So now all we have to do is change the status to completed and published. So let's go back inside the tutorial. And here we're gonna look for Google Sheets. And here we're gonna choose append or update row in sheet. So let's wait. We're gonna look for baby podcast as a document, sheet 1. It's gonna map each column, and here column to match on, we're gonna choose the, let's go ahead and find the video URL. Let's go inside now right here, and we're gonna paste it right here. So here, you remember the trick. We're gonna rename it first and dot. Now everything is being pasted in here, and here we're gonna just basically, let's see, it uses it to match. So it matches the videos that was generated. We use that video URL. We didn't use that video URL. We used that audio URL, but it's still gonna work with video URL as well for it to match which row to update. And here the status is gonna be row status is gonna be completed. Let me go back and actually check this. What are my statuses? Completed and published. Okay, completed and published. So now we're gonna test the step, and let's wait, and everything should get updated inside our spreadsheet. So let's go back inside our spreadsheet. Let's pass it again because the button was pressed. That's why it didn't get updated. So let's test the step again, and if we go back and wait, as you can see, it changed to the published. So let's close it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it informative and fun to create. If you have any questions, just comment down below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye, guys.